You sign for a driver that promises 15 more yards. The launch monitor screen glows with numbers you don't fully understand: spin rate, launch angle, ball speed. The salesman nods. You swipe your card. $600 vanishes, and you walk to the parking lot feeling like you just bought a secret weapon. But here's the quiet truth no one at the fitting bay will tell you. That launch monitor was calibrated for a different golfer entirely. The algorithm inside it was built using data from tour pros and college athletes, players who swing a driver at 110 miles per hour or more. If your swing speed lives under 85, and for most amateur golfers it does, the machine is showing you a fantasy, not a measurement. The gap between what the monitor shows and what actually happens on the course is the single most expensive illusion in golf. Subscribe if you want to see the rest of the system, from shaft markup to green fees, torn open with cold data. Comment below with the biggest fitting lie you've fallen for. The average male golfer swings a driver at 93 miles per hour. That's the statistic from Golf Digest's 2024 Equipment Survey, and it sounds respectable until you look closer. The median is lower. The recreational golfer, the one who plays 20 rounds a year, who buys a new driver every 4 seasons, who has never seen a club-fitting studio, that golfer averages closer to 82 miles per hour. And every launch monitor in every pro shop was optimized for the top 10%. Let me show you what that means in real dollars. A player swinging at 110 miles per hour generates roughly 225 miles per hour of ball speed with a modern driver. At that speed, the coefficient of restitution, the trampoline effect of the club face, matters enormously. Spin rate, launch angle, and face angle all become measurable variables worth optimizing. A degree of loft adjustment can add 5 yards. A shaft weight change can tighten dispersion. The data has meaning, but a player swinging at 82 miles per hour generates roughly 120 miles per hour of ball speed. At that speed, the physics changes. The ball doesn't compress the same way, the face doesn't flex. The spin rate is dominated by impact point, not club head design. You could change every variable on the monitor and see a difference of 2 to 3 yards, well within the margin of measurement error. The launch monitor is lying to you. The error isn't malice, it's design intent. Most consumer launch monitors, the ones you find in big box golf stores, the ones used in free fittings, base their calculations on a mathematical model that assumes high swing speed. The algorithms were trained on datasets of professional swings because that data is abundant and clean. The result is a prediction engine that generates plausible-looking numbers for slow swing speeds. But those numbers don't correspond to real-world performance. Here's the evidence. In 2023, MyGolfSpy ran a controlled test comparing launch monitor readings to actual on-course tracking for players under 85 miles per hour. The monitors consistently overstated carry distance by 12 to 18 yards. They understated spin by 4 to 600 RPM. The dispersion patterns were off by a factor of 2. A golfer who saw 235 carry on the screen was actually hitting the ball 215. That 12-yard gap changes everything about club selection, confidence, and enjoyment. The salesman who sold you that driver didn't know the monitor was lying. He read the screen, saw the numbers, and believed them. So did you. That's not a scam, it's a systems failure built into the retail golf ecosystem. The launch monitor didn't lie to hurt you. It lied because the system was built for a golfer that doesn't exist. Subscribe to stay ahead of every hidden cost between you and a better score. If this resonates with you, there's a lot more where this came from. Link in the description. Type theater in the comments if you recognize the script. Now, let's talk about the one number that actually matters when your swing speed sits under 85. It's not ball speed, it's not spin rate, it's smash factor, the ratio of ball speed to club head speed. A perfect strike with a modern driver yields a smash factor around 1.5. For a 110 mile per hour swing, that's 165 miles per hour ball speed. For an 82 mile per hour swing, that's 123. The difference is purely club head speed. No launch monitor adjustment changes your smash factor. No shaft upgrade, no loft tweak, no head selection adds more than 0.01 to your smash factor if you're already striking the center of the face. The single variable that determines your distance at low swing speeds is impact consistency, hitting the sweet spot more often. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Launch monitors are terrible at measuring impact consistency. The optical systems that track club face impact position have a typical error margin of plus or minus 4 millimeters. The sweet spot on a modern driver is roughly 10 millimeters in diameter. That means the machine can't tell you whether you hit the center, the toe, or the heel. It can only give you a fuzzy average. The salesman sees a green circle and tells you, "Great strike," but the green circle covers a zone where distance can vary by 15 yards. If you've ever stood in a fitting bay, hitting ball after ball, watching the numbers climb and fall, and felt that creeping doubt. Am I actually getting better, or is this machine just guessing? You were right. The doubt was accurate. Your instincts were protecting you from a system designed to sell, not to inform. The launch monitor test that matters for players under 85 miles per hour is not a number on a screen. It is a 6-round test on a real golf course using a laser rangefinder and a scorecard. You hit 10 drives per round with your current club, you track total distance and lateral dispersion. Then you do the same with the new club. The difference, if any, is real. Everything else is retail theatre. Golf manufacturers know this. The engineers at Titleist and Callaway design their drivers to maximize distance at 100 miles per hour because that's what the marketing teams need. But the product managers also know that the largest buying segment, the weekend golfer, swings slower. So they optimize the marketing for the high-speed image, while the actual product delivers marginal gains for the customer who needs them most. It works because you want to believe. The launch monitor gives you permission to spend. Let me describe what happens in the fitting bay of a national golf retailer on a Saturday afternoon. A man in his mid-40s, wearing a polo shirt that's tucked in and slightly stretched, picks up a demo driver. He's practiced once this month. His handicap is 18. He swings, and the monitor flashes 231 yards. He smiles. The salesman opens the cabinet and pulls out a fresh box. The transaction takes 4 minutes. The customer leaves with a $600 driver, a new head cover, and a sense of renewal. 6 weeks later, that same driver is sitting in his garage. He's hit it on the course 4 times. His driving average is 212 yards, almost exactly what his old driver gave him. The difference between the monitor and reality was 19 yards, and that gap cost him $600. The launch monitor is not a tool for improvement. It is a closing mechanism for a sale. It provides an illusion of objectivity that shortcuts your rational decision-making. You see a big number, your brain releases dopamine, and the friction of spending disappears. The store is designed to short-circuit your logic with a glowing screen and a big number. Subscribe so you don't let a dopamine spike cost you $600 on your next visit. Comment with the word dopamine. Call out the chemical manipulation for what it is. The fix is brutally simple. Ignore every launch monitor in every store. Take your current driver to an outdoor range that carries a TrackMan, a Doppler radar unit that measures actual ball flight in open air. Hit 20 balls. Record your average. Then test the new driver under identical conditions using the same brand of ball, same temperature, same wind. Compare. If the new driver beats your current one by more than 5 yards of carry distance on center strikes, it's a legitimate upgrade. If not, the money stays in your pocket. But here's the deeper corrosion. The launch monitor system has shifted the entire golf equipment industry away from what actually matters for slow swingers. Variable face thickness, movable weights, carbon fiber crowns, these technologies produce measurable gains at high swing speeds and negligible gains at low ones. The R&D budget goes where the marketing story is strongest, not where the customer need is greatest. The result is a market flooded with clubs designed for a golfer who doesn't exist. the recreational player with tour-level speed. The actual recreational player buys a club that was optimized for a fantasy. The launch monitor enabled the fantasy, and the industry collected its premium. If you swing under 85 miles per hour, the single best equipment investment you can make is not a driver fitting or a shaft upgrade. It is a lesson on strike quality. Hitting the center of the face 5% more often will give you more distance than any driver technology available. And that lesson costs less than a new head. There is a club in your bag right now that, if you practice with it for 10 minutes before every round, will lower your score more than any equipment purchase you could make. It's not the driver, it's the putter. But no launch monitor in any store will tell you that, because there's a margin on drivers and no margin on the truth. The next time a salesman points you toward a fitting bay, hold your ground. Ask him to show you the data on impact consistency. Ask him what the error margins are on the optical sensors. Ask him for the results of the MyGolf spy test. He won't have answers, and the silence will tell you everything you need to know. You came into that store to improve your game. The launch monitor offered a shortcut, but shortcuts in golf are always more expensive than the full path, because the full path doesn't need to sell you anything. It only needs you to show up, hit the center of the face, and accept that most of the distance you lost was never in your wallet in the first place. Because the system, the fitting bay, the launch monitor, the salesman with his rehearsed script, was never designed to fix your golf swing. It was designed to convert your hope into a sale, and hope, in the golf industry, is the most profitable line item on any balance sheet. The real breakthrough happens when you stop feeding that machine. When you drive past the big box store and head straight to the range with nothing but your current 7-iron, a bucket of balls, and a simple intention to feel the strike quality of every shot. No data, no screen, no salesman breathing over your shoulder. Just you, the club face, and the sensation of a ball compressing properly off-center. That feeling is free, and it will improve your game more than any $600 driver ever could. The real game isn't about equipment, it's about recognizing when the industry is selling you hope instead of improvement. Subscribe to keep stripping away the marketing and finding what actually works. In the comments, write "free strike" if you've already experienced that feeling of pure center contact without spending a dime. The launch monitor industry is not going away. The fitting studios will continue to multiply. The marketing will get more sophisticated. But you now know what they don't want you to know. The machine is calibrated for a ghost, and the ghost swings faster than you. The numbers on that screen are a fiction designed to close a transaction, not to measure your potential. There is no shame in swinging at 82 miles per hour. The average tour pro swings a driver at 113. The average recreational golfer swings at 93. You are not falling short of some standard. You are the standard, and the industry built a lie to make you feel like you aren't. Next time you walk into a pro shop and see the fitting bay glowing with its blue light and plastic turf, keep walking. Your money will mean more to you at the end of the round than the driver ever would. Your scorecard will tell the truth. The launch monitor never could.